Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic this morning in the breakfast show. We are going to discuss the role of social media in marketing for the tourism in Egypt. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to host today our dear guest, Miss Saeed, the tour guide. Good morning, Miss Saeed.
Good morning.
Ms. Saeed, could you give us your point of view on the role of the social media in marketing for the tourism in Egypt?
Well, the idea of tourism around the world, it's more about questions. It's like a group of people are passionate and are interested in visiting a place, Egypt or any other part of the world, and thinking, oh, I'd like an answer, I'd like to go to that place. Before the social media, it was pretty tough to do that. Or you have to go to the place or to have someone telling you about the place. The social media made this a lot easier. So if you are digging for a question, trying to find an answer to a suggestion for a place to go to, Egypt is very fascinating, but if you are trying to go to any place, social media and internet, Googling a piece of information can lead you to an answer to so many other informations, and this is really encouraging. So you would like to go to visit the place, you don't have to hear from someone, you can just go to the place, take a picture and post it right away. Other people would see it, will feel very encouraged to go to the same place and have the experience of visiting it. Or so it's very easy, very fast, and very positive.
Yes, yes. So it's very effective.
Very effective, and it's
and
more
very quick.
Yeah, very quick.
Yes.
Actually, it's like when you are thinking of traveling to some place, Egypt is on everybody's bucket list.
Yes.
So thinking of going to Egypt is a priority to most of the nationalities around the world.
Yes.
It's more of seeing the pyramids is a dream of every single person since they were so young. Most of different cultures and different nationalities are studying Egypt, studying ancient Egypt.
Yes.
And the variety of what you can see in Egypt is making this amazing, because you can still see, of course, the pyramids, all the ancient Egyptian monuments, but the beautiful Islamic Cairo and the beautiful Luxor and Aswan, going to the Red Sea for relaxing and for the beach.
The beach tourism.
The beach too. So we've got everything. Yes. So we've got everything. It's fascinating to come to a place like Egypt with the beautiful sun and the great atmosphere along the year.
Yes, yes. So, Ms. Saeed, you've made a film, a short film on the social media.
It's actually a
program. Could you talk to us about?
Yeah, it's called Egypt in a Minute.
Yes.
And it's a program about Egypt. So it is taking different sides about the very famous spots and highlights of Egypt from a point of view which is out of the box. So if you are knowing if the Great Pyramid is very famous and everyone would like to come to, so we are talking more about other pyramids that they are not as famous, but they are fascinating to go to. And you feel really amazed to see them, especially when they are not famous, because you don't have any expectations about them. People are coming from different parts of the world, are expecting the pyramids to be great, to be wonderful, and it is actually. But when you are going to a place and you are not expecting anything at all, it is even way more overwhelmed.
Yes, yes. When did you start the idea and why?
Well, it was because I had that concern along my life. Like, we don't have many bloggers who are speaking English. Like, they are Egyptian, I mean. Like, we've got so many bloggers in speaking Arabic about Egypt or speaking about tourism, which is very great and very important role. But when we have someone who's talking about Egypt in English and going to different areas, going to highlighting, putting the spotlight on places in Egypt that most of people don't know many things about, or even giving them just a little piece of information, encouraging them and make them desire to come and know more and see more. It's very interesting to other cultures.
Yes.
And if it's a very short piece of information, it's very encouraging. So if you are just giving them like a small capsule, like it's very concentrated, and then they would like to know more stories about each site. And Egypt is very rich. It's very rich. Like you will, you can endless talk about places in Egypt. And you can endless talk about how fascinating parts of Egypt could be to different cultures, depend on their needs.
Yes, yes. What makes Egypt special, aside from the civilization and the antiquities, is it the atmosphere and the friendly people of Egypt?
Well, everything makes Egypt very special. So the streets of Egypt, the passionate people, the warm culture, how the people are, the sense of humor, let's say. They don't sleep. It's very fascinating to many other cultures coming to visit Egypt. When did you sleep? You don't sleep at all. And it is a lot of fun to go to a place with this multi-dimensional culture. So you are seeing the people, they are working all the time, working hard, they're still happy, they're making jokes about themselves even if they have to, and you are seeing the smile, how they are living a different warm type of culture, and it is very unique. That's beside all the sites and all the wonderful monuments Egypt has, which is some of it are very unique, you don't find anywhere else in the world. We've got most of the largest open museums in the world, like El Muazzez Street in the Old Cairo. It is the largest open museum in the world. The beautiful Mamlukan and Fatimid mosques. It's along your walking.
And desert also.
Yeah, of course.
Where the graves are there.
We've got everything.
Yes.
So if you are a desert person, come to Egypt. If you are a sea person, would like to relax and go snorkeling or diving, come to Egypt. If you are into history and more cultural tourism, come to Egypt. If you love the sun, come to Egypt. Egypt has everything. It's about everything.
Yes, yes. Ms. Saeed, when we were just talking about your program on the social media, you've raised an example concerning the pyramids. So let me stick to this example that you have raised right now. How do you see when we usually see icons taking photos with the pyramids, football players, soccer players, presidents, princes around the world comes to Egypt and take pictures with the, and lately when Egypt organized the World Men's Handball Championship, we see the teams, for example, the German team taking a very lovely photo with the pyramids. So what's the importance of seeing icons having the pictures with the pyramids here in Egypt, and how can the Ministry of Tourism make benefit of this?
Well, it is absolutely important. So if we are talking about the social media and the role of the social media in encouraging tourism, and thinking that the celebrities or icons are coming to the pyramids or coming to anywhere, any spot in Egypt, and they are taking pictures, posting them, talking about how amazing the experience are with all the followers they have, it's like a huge effect. It's like you don't have to make any ad. It's like hundreds ads. So depending on how all the followers they've got seeing these things, it's like I'd like to do the same. So if we are thinking about ourselves, thinking that any icon doing something, wearing something, or going to a place, and you are like one of the fans of that icon, so you would like to do the same. So it's very similar. It's like you are copying the experience of your favorite icon or your idol. So it is absolutely important and effective.
Yes, Yes. Now with the challenge of the coronavirus, how do you see the scene concerning the tourism in Egypt?
Well, after the
That is
coronavirus,
facing the whole world, of course.
yeah, I was about to tell you that
Yes.
it's a pandemic affecting the whole world,
Yes.
changing the culture of traveling for a while, up till everything is back to normal and back to safe to travel, and it is absolutely affecting Egypt because Egypt is depending highly on tourism, and so many people are working in the field.
Yes.
So with the coronavirus, with less people are traveling, that is affecting it. But when it's over, I think it's going to be like a big raise for tourism, especially with the opening of the Grand Museum.
Of course.
So let's be optimistic.
Yeah.
And
Concerning the Grand Egyptian Museum that is about to be opened soon, how do you see the importance of this great project, and how would it boost tourism in Egypt?
first of all, this museum is unique among any museum around the world, as it is going to be the largest museum, has collection and antiquities, monuments. They are related to one culture. So all the different beautiful, wonderful museums that we really, of course, appreciate around the world, most of the time they've got antiquities belong to different cultures. So the Louvre, the British Museum, Berlin Museum, any other museum. The Egyptian Museum is going to be different because of this, because it has the collection all related to the ancient Egyptian and to Egyptian culture, and because it has a massive labs for restoring and for taking care of these antiquities. So you don't have the risk of moving any of it other place for restoration or for taking care of it. The story it is telling, the beautiful design, it's a winning design of a competition, which made it absolutely amazing. I've been there, I did a visit on the ground before the opening, and the work so far, unique. You'll be taken by the place just the moment you get in.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful.
And actually it's going to be encompassing also one of the important pieces of Tutankhamun. It's going to collect all his belongings, isn't it? After it was touring the world outside in several exhibitions in Paris and in London, isn't it? Until it comes back to stay forever in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Well, the touring exhibit of King Tutankhamun, they are selected pieces, not the whole collection.
The whole pieces. But the whole collection is going to be put in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes, it will be in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
And the pieces that were in the old Egyptian Museum.
Of course, in Tahrir Museum, it will be all gathered and taking King Tut room will be in the Grand Museum, the whole exhibit of it. But still, the traveling exhibit will be touring around the world most of the time, as usual, as it's a very important ambassador for people to see. If you just watching the news, if it's in Paris or in London, whenever you will see how the people are rowing, they are just going there, they would like to see these pieces, and some imitations, of course. But some pieces are very unique, and it's very dangerous to travel. So they are selecting some of the pieces which is available. Like if we've got, for example, 4 very similar jars made out of the same material, looks almost the same, one will be traveling to the tours. And it's very, very unique and very important. And King Tutankhamun in particular is very famous, and because of course it's one of the major discoveries in the history, thinking that we are finding a complete intact tomb with all the belongings in there. That's just a...
Why is the whole world attracted to the young King Tut? Not only in Egypt, the whole world.
The whole world. Well, because we never found a complete tomb before. King Tut himself, according to history, he was not as important. So he didn't rule much. He was a a young
Very
king.
young, yes.
Yeah, took over when he was 9, died when he turned 18. No special or important event took place during the 9 years he ruled. But the collection made him very famous. Imagining Howard Carter opening the tomb and you're just opening the doors and finding everything with all the details, and eventually you are opening the tomb itself, the grave, and you are finding the sarcophagus, the coffin, the golden mask, and his mummy. It's absolutely stunning because most of the mummies we found, they were not found in their individual tombs. They were found hidden together in caches. Whenever we were facing, ancient Egypt were facing intermediate periods or weakness, the priests, whenever they felt danger for mummies and so many robberies are taking place, they would have collected these mummies and tried to protect it and try to hide it, buried it all together at a place. So these caches are what brought most of the mummies we see today in Ancient Egyptian Museum, which they moved it to the Culture Museum today, or any other museum in the world. King Tut is very, very special. He was found in the place the ancient Egyptians put him and buried him there. The collection is amazing, around 5,000 pieces. So it's absolutely stunning. That what made him very famous.
How do you see the importance of the latest discoveries of coffins in the Saqqara district?
So many major discoveries lately happened. So let's start with Luxor, Asasif, 30.
Even in Elmenia.
Luxor, Alexandria lately, just a week ago, they found some mummies with a golden tongue, and that takes us to the importance of the word, how it has to be golden for you to go to heaven. So just make it very kind. And of course, Saqqara. Saqqara is amazing site. So when we are talking about Saqqara, if you are dig under your feet, if you're standing over there in a place, you're definitely going to find something. It's a very, very rich site, full of different graves and different tombs. Go back to a very major and very extended period of history, of Egyptian history.
500 years ago?
Well, you're actually talking about since the Old Kingdom, since 2400 BC.
Coffins of high-ranking officials and also
this
of
is
animals.
The new discovery. This is the new discovery, but I'm telling you about the area itself. The area, you have tombs related since the Old Kingdom, 5th dynasty, 3rd dynasty, of course Zoser, all the way up till the end of the Greco-Roman period. The last discovery is of course amazing, but Saqqara, every day you're finding something.
How would this add to the percentage of Egypt, the belongings of Egypt from the monuments and antiquities?
Well,
a large number of coffins.
We've got a huge number.
And we're expecting more, of course.
We're expecting more, So to the whole world, it's every new discovery, it's like you are getting to know more about the people who live that culture. So studying archaeology in the first place, it's more about people, because many people might misunderstand this about archaeology. It's not about the piece, it's not about this piece of we found or the coffin. It's about the people who lived that life, who had this culture of mummification or who had this mythology and religion, and they were thinking that way, living that way, and they buried their dead that way. So it is very fascinating because of this, because it gives you an opportunity to know
the details
more about the people, And for the ancient Egyptians in particular, they are very unique. Their mythology, their code of ethics, even they were very civilized among different cultures. We never found, for example, any human sacrifices. Even to the very old ages in the ancient Egypt. But at the same time, we found human sacrifices in different cultures around the whole world, most of the old cultures, except ancient Egypt. So very civilized. They were sacrificing food, animals, or birds, and they were very practical. That after sacrificing them, letting them for this dead person to enjoy the spirit of the sacrifice, they would have taken them and divided among themselves, which made them very funny and very unique, yes, and very practical and very civilized at the same time.
Yes, yes. So, Ms. Saeed, recently the CNN travel website chose Egypt as one of the most significant and important destinations in the world. So, how do you see this or read this?
Well, it absolutely is. Egypt, it is one of the most must-seen destinations in the world.
Yes.
And by the way, of course it is choosing, and it's something very
important. To be recommended is very important.
To be recommended, of course. Yes. But most of the different cultures I dealt with and I've seen and I've met, they actually know that importance of Egypt very well, and they appreciate visiting Egypt. Egypt is unique and it's a must-see, yes, destination.
How can we take benefit of this report also?
Of this report?
Yes,
right now?
Recommending Egypt.
Well, recommending Egypt is still the social media, trying to spread the report around the world, taking use of it, especially after the coronavirus, and after this is over. I think it will help a lot for more visitors, more tourists to be interested in coming to Egypt.
Yes. Well, I thank you very much for coming today, and I really had the pleasure to host you. Thank you very much, Mr. May Saeed, the tour guide, for your valuable information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, my dear viewers, now I leave you with my colleague, Shireen Adel.